Jacob was born grabbing. Genesis 25 to 26. He came out of the womb holding on to the heel of his twin brother Esau. That's where his name came from. Jacob in Hebrew, Yaakov, it means heel grabber, supplanter, the one who holds on and doesn't let go. His whole life was the story of a man who kept trying to take by force what God had already promised him by grace. God had told his mother Rebekah before the twins were born, the older will serve the younger. Jacob was going to get the blessing. It was already decided. And then Jacob spent the next 20 years trying to get it himself. He tricked his brother out of his birthright for a bowl of soup. He disguised himself as Esau and deceived his blind father Isaac out of the firstborn blessing. He ran from his furious brother, worked for his uncle Laban for 20 years, got tricked himself, and finally started home with the brother he had cheated waiting for him on the road. And the night before he faced Esau alone, a man wrestled with him until daybreak. Genesis 32 to 24. A man wrestling with Jacob all night. The text is deliberately unclear about who this man was, but verse 28 tells us what Jacob called the place, Peniel, because I saw God face to face, and yet my life was spared. Jacob wrestled with God all night. And here's the moment I can't stop thinking about. Genesis 32 to 26. The man said, "Let me go. It's dawn." And Jacob said, "I will not let you go unless you bless me." The heel grabber, even in the presence of God, even in the middle of a divine wrestling match, his instinct was, hold on, don't let go, get the blessing. But this time it was different, because he wasn't grabbing for something that didn't belong to him. He was finally holding on to the right thing, for the right reason. And God, instead of pulling away, asked him his name. Why would God ask Jacob his name? God knew his name, but Jacob needed to say it. He needed to hear himself say it. I am Jacob. I am the grabber. I am the one who has spent his whole life taking things he should have waited to receive. And God changed his name to Israel, one who wrestles with God. And then he blessed him. And Jacob walked away from that river with a limp. The hip that was put out of joint in the wrestling match, it didn't heal. He limped for the rest of his life. The blessing left a mark. Here's what this story has been saying to me for years. The thing God promised Jacob, he was always going to receive it. The blessing was not in danger. The prophecy was not in danger. God's plan was not contingent on Jacob's behavior. But Jacob kept grabbing instead of trusting. And every grab cost him something. The relationship with his brother, 20 years away from home, the years with Laban, the fear and the running. All of it trying to take what was already his to receive. And at the end of all of it, he wrestled with God directly and held on through the night and received the blessing he'd been clawing after for decades. And he limped, because the blessing of actually encountering God is not an upgrade. It changes your gait. It changes how you walk through the rest of your life. You don't wrestle with God and come back the same. You come back limping, and blessed, and renamed. And it's the most honest picture of faith in the entire book of Genesis.